Pete Docter comes back to the director's chair and made another great movie for Pixar, and one that was truly remembered by many, and lots of people think it's an incredible film. The film is centered on the life of a boy named Carl Fredricksen, who meets a girl named Ellie, and it transitions to their future where they get married, fix up the house Ellie played in as a kid, and dreams to one day go to Paradise Falls. Unfortunately, Ellie passed away, so the dream of going there together was crushed. So now we see an old man Carl still living in his home, where a construction site is building some kind of new building, after hitting a construction worker on the head for damaging his postbox, or mailbox if you live in the US, and is sentenced to go into a care home. But the morning he's supposed to go, he launches a collection of balloons and makes his house fly up into the air and takes it to Paradise Falls. And the child, by the name of Russell, joins along. Oh, I should mention that before the postbox thing, Russell comes over and gets given the task by Carl to look for a snipe, and somehow ends up on the floating house as well. Okay. Anyways, so they make it to South America, which is where Paradise Falls is, and they decide to walk around the forest to make it over to Paradise Falls. Along the way, they meet a bird who Russell thinks is the snipe and names it Kevin. They also meet a dog named Doug, played by once again Bob Peterson, and both Kevin and Doug join Carl and Russell on their journey. Up has a brilliant story, an adventure film with an old man doing the dream he's had for a while. It's sad that he couldn't do it with Ellie, but he knows that she's proud of what he's doing. Carl may be old, but that's what makes him unique, since we don't normally get an old person as a main character. We usually get main characters like a nerd, or some kind of tough guy or a female lead, but not usually an old person. I mean, we have had films in the past with old people as main characters, but it's not very common, at least films that I've seen. His character is focused on getting to the falls without any distractions, but those plans never happen once Russell shows up. Speaking of which, Russell is a pretty good kid character. Yeah, we've had kid characters before, like Andy, Boo, Nemo, Dash. They're all good kid characters too, but Russell is a good one. Most of these kids don't get much screen time, or they aren't focused that much. Sure, Dash is one of the main characters in The Incredibles, but he doesn't do much other than a couple of scenes running and action-packed and even interacting with some of the characters in a few scenes. But Russell actually gets some focus since he's in the film a lot of the time, and it is a nice change of pace this time around. Doug is a funny character. He has a lot of funny moments. One thing I should know is that he's sort of a talking dog. What makes him different from the other talking dogs that we usually see in like TV shows or movies is that this dog has his talking through a collar which has a voice chip, while other dogs they just talk out naturally, or it's due to like magic or something. Which to me is an overused thing in animation or live action. And what they did here, that's very creative and an original idea for a dog to talk. I feel like some stories should be like Up and make up their own way for a dog or anything to talk. But just don't use this film's squirrel idea. Kevin, well, Kevin is just Kevin. He doesn't do much other than just follow Carl and Russell, and that's basically it for him. I mean, sure, there is a little bit of character development in there, but it's not too much. Then there's the other dog characters. All they do most of the time is just follow the orders and hunt down Kevin. Though the leader has a funny voice, which sounds like Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks. Unfortunately, I'm comparing this to the live action ones, and I wish I was comparing it to the cartoon. Oh well. And then there's Charles Muntz, who we see in the beginning as Carl's idol, and seems friendly when Carl gets to meet him in person, which is something that is truly amazing when someone wants to meet their idol in person. I wish that could happen to me. But one complaint I have is to do with the film's plot twist. I know I've said before I love plot twists, but just not this one. The plot twist I'm talking about is of him being the villain of the movie. Yeah, it was a shock at first, but my god, the twist of who the villain is has become a thing with Disney. Most of the newer films they put out have this issue. I don't know if it's gonna go away anytime soon. Oh, okay. Again, it was shocking at first, but I feel like it was WALL-E and this film that started the whole plot twist villain thing Disney took upon doing. The animation is top notch once again. Pixar always improve on their animation in each film, and it gets better and better. Well, almost every film. Sort of. I love seeing the balloons and how they animated it. They had a total of 10 or 20,000? My god, that's impressive. I know I wouldn't be able to pull that off myself. I would just use a hot air balloon as an easy option. Oh wait. The animators and artists actually took a trip to Paradise Falls, and they did so much detail, and the detail they put in is incredible. The music is done once again by Michael, the guy who I have a hard time trying to say the last name to, who did the music in The Incredibles and Ratatouille, and what he does here I really like, and it feels like I'm on an adventure. And that's what this film is, an adventure film. Even the style of an old person's type of classical music that most old people would hear on TV or movies. It's really lovely to listen to. Up is another brilliant film from Pixar. Pete Docter does some really good stuff here. I think maybe just one more movie could do it. Wink, wink. I love this film so much, and I think it's better than Cars, A Bug's Life, Ratatouille, the Toy Story films, Nemo and Monsters Inc., but it isn't better than WALL-E and The Incredibles, in my opinion. You can already tell why I had more enjoyment from it, of course. I love this film so much, I highly recommend this film to anyone who wants an adventure film centered around an old man and his house with thousands of balloons. Check it out if you haven't already.